And let's focus on health here. Summer is almost here, and with the warmer weather comes allergy troubles for thousands here in San Diego. But there are some things that you can do to lessen their impact. So joining us to talk about some of those is Dr. Sabrina Fabi. Hi, thank you for joining us tonight.
Nice seeing you.
Okay, so what makes San Diego different when it comes to allergies?
Well, many people might be coming from the Midwest and the East Coast and see that they don't necessarily have the same seasonal allergies that they once had. But San Diego basically doesn't have the 4 seasons. And so we, being on the coast, we actually have dust mites all throughout the year. And we have our own unique set of allergens. When it rains, we may not have as many pollens, but we have high mold counts like we've had more recently with the rain. And when the sun comes out like today, and probably for the next week that it's going to be hotter, we see that mold reduces, but then we have an increase in pollen. And then with the summer, we see an increase in grass, which is another allergen. With spring, trees bloom, and that's another allergen. And so we really are almost kind of blessed and unique that we have allergens all throughout the year.
Oh, gee, that's great. Isn't that great? And it's funny because, you know, my son suffers from allergies, and a lot of times it's very hard to tell the difference between if somebody has a cold or if they have allergies. Yes. What are some fundamental differences?
Well, surprisingly, I actually suffer from allergies too, and I never had them before until I actually moved here. And so some symptoms are runny eyes, believe it or not. It's not just a congested runny nose, although that could also be the case. And it's different necessarily from a flu or from a cold, in that you may not have other symptoms like fevers or chills. And if you're not quite sure, you can start writing a diary and starting to see if certain times of the year you notice these symptoms a little bit more, or if you notice that when it rains, you see a spike in your symptoms, or when it's sunnier, you see a spike in your symptoms, because sometimes taking antibiotics are unnecessary. If it's truly an allergy, it won't do anything.
Right,
and of course, you can always go see your primary care doctor, and they do have skin prick tests that can allow you to find out if you're in fact allergic to something environmental and it's not actually a cold or a flu.
Okay, so then what should you take? You know, you see people wandering aimlessly around the drugstore staring at all the different brands. What helps?
I know. So believe it or not, only 80% of people actually take a medication for their allergy symptoms, and a fourth still suffer from symptoms even though they're on something. So most people just deal with it. What people should know is that you can actually avoid your triggers by starting to do a diary at home, and then also that there are shots that can be taken or even pills that can be given that almost make you, it's like a vaccine where you slowly develop an antibody against the antibody you've developed.
Wow, wouldn't that be nice just to get rid of it altogether? All right, Dr. Sabrina Fabi, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much.
Nice seeing you. Have a great day.
You too.